flow of how one can perform devotional service based on his based on his nature, maybe. Like firstly in sloka text, it is mentioned that one can fix his mind. Like Lord gives option that one can fix the mind to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he can engage his intelligence. So when in this way he will be in the stage of bhava. You mentioned that this is like a bhava stage when intelligence is engaged in the devotional service. And then text number 9, it is like a if one is not able to engage mind, then at least he should be able to, he should engage, he should follow the regulative principles of devotional service or bhakti. So it is like a Vaidhi sadhana bhakti you mentioned to that stage. And in text number 10, it is like an interim between intermediate stage to the 11, because 11 stage is Nishkama Karma Yoga. Like if one is not able to perform a devotional service or the regulative principles, at least okay, he should engage, he should work for the Lord, not directly regulative principles, but at least work some way or other in Lord's service. That is text 10. And then text 11 is like Nishkam Karma Yoga, like without giving up all the results, he should engage in the devotional service. So in this way, all the in this way the person can engage at bhava in the like mind or following regulative principles, or doing work without attaching to the results. And then text number 12, there is a yoga ladder. You mentioned that in the yoga ladder in chapter 3 earlier we understood that karma yoga, jnana yoga and ashtanga yoga. But here in text number 12, the Lord says that the jnana yoga, first try to cultivate jnana yoga, now get the knowledge, and then once the knowledge is you get the knowledge, then one can engage oneself in the meditation, dhyana yoga, and then once once is meditate, when he completes or perfect his meditation, then he can follow the actions. If he is not able to do that meditation, then he can follow the actions without expecting the fruits of their actions. So like it is like a little reversal, like not karma yoga, jnana yoga, and ashtanga yoga, but jnana yoga, then dhyana yoga, and then karma yoga. So in this way, that in text 12, it is mixed. All these things are mentioned.
Yeah, we discussed why it was reversed, that order, why it is mentioned in reverse order. Somebody can share why Krishna is mentioned in reverse order.
Because for beginners, it would be easy to step up the ladder. So it is in reverse order. For people who are very practiced, they can grow further to the highest step of ladder.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. So those who are beginners, like if they are not able to do Jnana Yoga, they are not so qualified, so pure in heart, so then they can do the Karma Yoga, in which Nishkam Karma Yoga is higher. Yeah. Okay. So Krishna is not speaking in the sense that Nishkam Karma Yoga is higher, but he is speaking in the as per the easiness of the practice of the process. Okay, anybody else want to share anything on what we discussed last time?
I think those last class we have discussed 12.67 also.
Yeah.
I can share from that part what I have written. That like Krishna talks about that he contrasts the process of impersonalism with bhakti and says that then how this bhakti process is very easy, and Krishna himself takes care of his devotees. And then you were telling that Prabhupada's example, that how the way Krishna is taking care of devotees, like kitten is carried by the carried in the mother of her in her like mother cat's mouth, and this is how like as Krishna says in that word, that he becomes the swift deliverer of the devotee. So like we were giving an example of how Chitraketu Maharaj, that he was not in anxiety to get delivered, but then Lord Sankarshan was in more anxiety, and thus he instigated or inspired Parvati Mata to curse him so that he can go back to him, to Lord. And also, like just like child is placed in the parents in his parents' care. Similarly, our devotee's position is secure, um, as compared to the people who are following other paths. And then we were discussing the meaning of sannyas, how it is sat plus nyas, that it's not to give up the truth, but anything that is not related with the truth. And it means one is accepting the devotional service and abandoning the things which are not favorable for devotional service. And that's how one can be engaged in bhakti or in seva and do ananya bhakti. So then Krishna says, if someone is doing this ananya bhakti, or he becomes Krishna is by Mam Dhyayante, then Krishna becomes the deliverer in no time. Na chirat, we have discussed that it does not take much time. So uh, yes, this na chirat we discussed, and we have discussed that Lord is anxious, and therefore like he has to wait because he has given us free will, but Krishna or the Lord is always anxious to take us back to his abode, and the only thing is that we have to be in the shelter of the Lord and his devotees.
Thank you for sharing. We'll continue the next verse. So the next section that we are discussing. Qualities that endear one to Krishna. So what qualities does Krishna like? So this section is about which person basically. So it is for devotees. Okay. Qualities of devotees. Okay. Which kind of devotees? So as we have been discussing earlier, 7th chapter we discussed. So Pradhani Bhut Bhakta. He is also called a devotee only, in the sense that bhakti is major, and there is small quantity of jnana or yoga in him. Completely devoid of any encumbrances of jnana or karma. So this is the explanation of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, that this devotee means these both. And Prabhupada takes it only Keval Bhakta actually. So according to Prabhupada, it is belonging only to the Keval Bhakta. So that is also the both are right and explanations, because some qualities belong only to Keval Bhakta and some qualities belong to both. Okay. Keval Bhakta as well as Pradhani Bhut Bhakta. Okay, like that. So we will discuss this section. So 13th and 14th together we will do. Adveshta Sarva Bhutanam Maitra Karuna Evacha Nirmamo Nirahankarah Samadukha Sukharchami Santushta Satatam Yogi Yatatma Dridha Nishchayah मयि अर्पिता मनो बुद्धिर यो मद भक्तः स मे प्रियः. Okay. Or okay. Who can do? Patilala Mataji, would you like to read?
Yes, Guruji. One who is not envious but is a kind friend to all living entities, who does not think himself a proprietor and is free from false ego, who is equal in both happiness and distress, who is tolerant and always satisfied, self-control and engaged in devotional service with determination. His mind and intelligence fix on me. Such a devotee of mine is very dear to me.
Thank you. So, this is a Prabhupada translation that such a devotee of mine is very dear to me. Yo mad bhakta same priyaha, mad bhakta, my devotee. So Krishna is continuing. After explaining the first section, he said that how actually devotional service is very easy and highest destination it gives. Whereas the Klesho Adhikarastesham, fifth shloka, it told that the path of impersonal liberation is okay, yeah, it's good. Means they can attain Brahman, they will surely get liberation, but it is filled with difficulties. And many reasons Acharyas gave that how it is very difficult for any conditioned soul to suddenly think that he is not the body because he has been conditioned in so many lifetimes. So for him to meditate on the deity as Krishna is more easy compared to considering that oneself is not the body like that. So Mad Bhakta Same Priya. So in this section now Krishna is continuing that how these devotees have very good qualities, they have very superior qualities. So Mad Bhakta, as we discussed, it can refer to both Pradhani Bhut as well as Keval Bhakta here. So they are both dear to me, like that Krishna is saying. Okay. And what are the qualities? So these qualities are mentioned here. So Adveshta Sarva Bhutanam, 31st quality, that he is non-envious. Okay, so this is the first quality actually Krishna also said for anyone to understand Bhagavad Gita. Anusuya, correct? He told to Arjuna that you are non-envious. That's why you can understand Bhagavad Gita. So this is the first quality actually Krishna has put in the list of the qualities. Adveshta. Okay, non-envious to whom? Only to his friends? No. Sarva Bhutanam, to all the living entities, he is saying. Okay. And not only being non-envious, that can mean that one may be neutral towards all. But he is saying next step also, Maitra. But he should be also friendly with them, not only not envious, but also being friendly with them. And not only just friendly in a simplistic manner, but also having the quality of karuna, kindness, compassion that is being said. Okay, karuna evacha. Certainly he should have. But okay, like last time we were discussing that even Mayavadis sometimes, yeah, Prabhupada may call them rascals, or even the impersonalists he may put in the same category. But we have to understand that he has so much compassion also. We cannot just imitate and tell them, oh, Prabhupada told you rascal, I will tell you rascal number one. I will increase the potency of the medicine and give you. We cannot imitate Prabhupada and just say like that. Okay, we don't have compassion like Prabhupada. Okay, and we cannot imitate his words also like that. So we have to understand that these are souls also who have not been come in touch with devotees. And if they come in touch with devotees and get good experience, they can also become devotees by getting sukriti. They can become devotees. Okay, nirmamo nirahamkara. Okay, so he is with no sense of proprietorship. Okay, this is the quality of devotee. No sense of proprietorship because they understand everything in this material world is temporary. The only constant thing is in this world is the change. Change is the only constant thing in this world. So they have no proprietorship over the things of the material world. Nirahankara, and because they don't identify oneself with the body or the objects of this material world, they don't have any false ego. They have true ego. What is the true ego? True ego is that I am servant of Krishna. Okay, like that. Sama, equal to all. Okay, like that. Dukkha, Sukha, Chami. Okay. Sama Dukkha Sukha. Yeah. He is equal in distress and happiness. This is one quality. Sama Dukkha Sukha. And Shami. He is forgiving. Okay. So all these qualities actually Prabhupada will explain in the purport. Santushtaha. Satisfied. Okay. Satisfied with whatever is needed. He is satisfied with that. Okay. He doesn't hanker for too much. Satatam yogi. He is always yogi means one who is one huge dhatu means to be in combination or be in touch with Krishna. Okay, Satatam yogi is always in touch with Krishna. Okay, like Brahmana is one who is always thinking about the Brahma or Krishna. Okay, like that. Okay. Yeah, yatatma dhrida nishchayah. He is yata atma, self-controlled. Dhrida nishchayah, determined. He is determined. Okay. Mai arpita mano buddhir. And he has given to me something. What? Mano and buddhi. He has given his mind and intelligence both to me. Okay, like Krishna says, Maya sakta manah chetasa. Okay, so mana and chetana, both he has given to me. Maya asakta manah partha. Okay, so he has asakti, means attachment for me. He has made once himself attached to me through his mind. Like that, many things can be explained in this. So let's read Prabhupada. Yeah. Yes, Prabhupada, please. Oh yeah, Mataji, you were reading that, please.
Yeah. Coming again to the point of pure devotional service, the Lord is describing the transcendental qualification of a pure devotee in these two verses. A pure devotee is never disturbed in any circumstances, nor is he envious of anyone, nor does a devotee become his enemy's enemy. He thinks this person is acting as my enemy due to my own past mistake, so it is better to suffer than to protest. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 10.14.8, it is stated, Tatte anukampam su samikshmano bhunjan evatma kritam vipakam. Whenever a devotee is in distress or has fallen into difficulty, he thinks that it is the Lord mercy upon him.
Yeah. So Prabhupada is giving the vision here, how to see this quality that if anybody acts opposite to our desires and gives troubles to us, how to see it. So he is saying this person is acting as my enemy due to my own past deeds. So it is better to suffer than to protest. So devotee is not interested in protesting or wasting time in such protests. He is more interested in performing the Artha Pravritti, basically sadhana bhakti, 9 limbs of devotional service or 5 important limbs of bhakti. He is more interested in that. And he is saying one prayer of Brahmaji from the 14th chapter of 10th canto, that whenever a devotee is in distress or has fallen into difficulty, he thinks that it is due to Lord's mercy upon him. Okay. And it's okay. Further, Prabhupada is going to explain that actually he was supposed to suffer a lot because of what? Atmakrit vipakam. Okay. Atmakrit, because of my own misdeeds. I was supposed to suffer a lot. But because of Lord's mercy, I have that anukampa. Because of Lord's anukampa, the whole trouble has reduced to a very, very small fraction of its effect. Like that he thinks. And yeah, before that, obviously, Prabhupada said that this quality belongs to the pure devotee, that is Keval Bhakta. Okay. Surely all the quality belong to Keval Bhakta, but some of the qualities also belong to the Pradhani Bhut Bhakta. Okay. So that is explained by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Okay. Just trying to see where he has mentioned. So that we are, okay, I think it's coming in the later section. We'll see that. Okay, yes, Matthew, please.
He,
Yeah.
he thinks, thanks to my past misdeed, I should suffer far, far greater than I am suffering now. So it is by the mercy of the Supreme Lord that I am not getting all the punishment I am due. I'm just getting a little by the mercy of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, he is always calm, quiet, and patient despite many distressful conditions. A devotee is also always kind to everyone, even to his enemy. Nirmama means that a devotee does, does not attach much importance to the pain and trouble pertaining to the body because he knows perfectly well that he is not the material body.
Yeah, so one quality Prabhupada you can see he is taking and explaining. Okay, so here he was continuing from the past, same one, that how so much trouble I am supposed to undergo, but actually Lord has reduced it to minimal. Okay, that's why he is always calm, quiet, and patient. Okay, despite many distressful conditions. Okay, and then next quality is that he is always kind to everyone. Okay, Karuna. So the quality of Karuna he is saying. Mhm. And to everyone, even to his enemy. So how does he show his mercy to the enemy? By not going and preaching them to Krishna consciousness, so that they will be more agitated. Okay, so only when they are favorable and they want to accept Krishna consciousness, or they are at least neutral, one can go and explain. So it says the qualities of the Madhyamadhikari. Okay, so Ishware Tadadhineshu Balisheshu Dushastucha. So four categories of people he sees. That is, one is obviously the Lord, Tadadhineshu, the devotees. Balisheshu means those who are innocent. These three he loves or he uh, preaches to them. But those who are envious, for them, he disregards in the sense that he is not going and agitating them. Okay, because they may commit offenses to the devotees. Like that. And then Nirmama, next quality Prabhupada explaining. Devotee do not attach too much importance to the pains and trouble pertaining to the body, because he knows perfectly well that he is not a material body. Okay. So yeah, so one, it doesn't mean that one doesn't have to take care of his body, but he is not too much attached to the body. He takes the due care. He has the quality of self-care of the body. Okay, but he is not uh, uh, he is not attached to the body. So for that, uh, what is that word? Yeah, is um, yeah, some particular word was there. It was very in my
Body.
mind. Sorry.
Conscious to the body.
No, he
Conscious.
can, yeah, he can be conscious of the body, whatever is needed. Yeah, but he is not self-centered. Correct. Yeah. Basically, self-centered or kind of self-attached, thinking always about his body, only about his body, not thinking about the soul. Whatever required for the body, if he has to take medicine, consult the doctor, then he should do and take care of the body. But it should not be so much that he is not able to do his sadhana and he is thinking only about body. Okay. So any
Narcissism or narcissist. Topaz writes
okay. Yeah,
narcissist.
yeah, correct. So one more thing I wanted to highlight here in this. So when the difficulties come in our own life, then one sees one things like this. But when the difficulty is caused to others because of us, then one should not think like this. That yeah, whenever the devotee is in distress or fallen in difficulty, you should think that it is Lord's mercy upon you. Okay, one should not say to others like this. It is for one's own application in one's own life, and especially when one becomes the instrument of difficulty for others, one should not tell, you don't know the philosophy. Prabhupada told we are just like postmen. Okay, I am just postman of your karma. Don't blame me. So one should not say like that. Those kind of philosophical stuff there, or one should not say for a sick one person who is sick. For him, we should not say, "Oh Prabhu, don't you know you are not the body? You'll get up from the deathbed and start doing the services now." Okay, so one should not say like that. Okay, so it is some immaturity in the path of bhakti. One may think like this because we have so many examples that Prabhupada actually took so much care about the disciples, their if they had any disease or any problems. And Prabhupada many times he himself wrote the prescription. One time in Vrindavan, one of his disciples who was carrying his in his old age, he was not able to walk. Prabhupada was not walking, so he was carried in the palanquin, basically in the uh, so then the disciple who was lifting that palanquin, basically he had a boil in his leg and then he was having a lot of difficulty in lifting. So then Prabhupada saw what was the difficulty and then on a piece of paper he wrote the medicine name and he gave them money also. He told you take this medicine, you take this ointment and then really cured. So Prabhupada was very much concerned about his disciple's body and about his body also. Prabhupada was very nicely taking care. Every day he used to go for morning walk and Prabhupada was told by the doctor. Now Prabhupada could have told, "Oh, doctor, what you know, you are only materialistic scientist person. You don't know anything about Krishna consciousness. You are giving me guidance that I should do morning walk every day." He was not saying like that. He took it very seriously. He started doing morning walk every day. So these kind of stuff, when devotees imitate Prabhupada in some particular direction and then they do extreme kind of stunts, then it becomes harmful for their own life and for their followers, because they guide their followers also immaturely. And then later everybody has to reap the uh, discomfort of the problem. So Prabhupada every day he used to take massage. He spent 1 hour every day to taking massage. If he is a world acharya, he knows the importance of time. He could have spent that 1 hour for translating more books, completed the 10th canto. If you think it was not necessary, you could have avoided the massage. You could have translated. Krishna consciousness is all important, Prabhu. Why are you wasting time doing all this pranayam and yoga? Don't you know you're not the body? Yes, Prabhu. But we have to see the overall philosophy. Okay, how Prabhupada lived his life, not only how you see the life of Prabhupada, but you have to see it overall, how he lived his life. Okay, so he's teaching us by example, but at the same time, one should not go to other extreme that whole day he's doing yoga and pranayam only, and he's doing whole seminar, giving Krishna conscious preaching, he's doing seminars on that, attending that only. So we have both the, you know, both the extremes of the pendulum in our society, and we should try to be balanced actually. Okay. Hare Krishna. Yes, please continue.
He does not identify with the body, therefore he is free from the conception of false ego and is equipoised in happiness and distress. He is tolerant and he is satisfied with whatever comes by the grace of the Supreme Lord. He does not endeavor much to achieve something with great difficulty, therefore he is always joyful. He is a completely perfect mystic because he is fixed in instructions received from the spiritual master, and because his senses are controlled, he is determined. He is not swayed by false argument because no one can lead him from the fixed determination of devotional service.
Yeah, so yeah, again, as I told, Gopal is continuing to explain one quality, very briefly explaining actually these qualities, because these qualities continue coming one after another. In the 13th chapter also they will come now, and previously also some qualities have already come in the first 6 chapters. Many times actually in Bhagavad Gita, this equipoised, if you see, na, Samoham Sarva Bhuteshu, Krishna speaks about himself, he speaks about his devotees, speaks about the yogis. So many times this equipoised has come. Okay, more than 10 times it would have surely come. This equipoised, this quality. So Krishna focuses on this quality very much actually, to be sama, equanimity, equipoised. These words, if you search many times, it will come. And after Krishna, Prabhupada again emphasizes them in the purports. So I think yeah, it is quite important then. Yeah, so he does not identify with the body. Okay. Yeah, it's very easy actually in our Krishna conscious society. Very easy to know that we are not the bodies, but it takes quite number of years to realize, as we have been discussing earlier, that there is first knowledge, and then it leads to understanding, and that leads to realization actually. So actually that goes in this order. If somebody says that, yeah, actually Prabhuji has realized so much, but he never means put so much emphasis on knowing the philosophy or understanding the philosophy, but he has got so much of realization. You can tell Hare Krishna, yes, there's no problem. Yeah, so there is no realization which is actually going to come, which is based on scripture, if there is no knowledge based on scripture. First thing is that if knowledge is not there, there is no question of having understanding based on scripture. And if understanding is not there, then there is no question of having realization based on scripture. Okay. So you can have this order kept in your mind for a understanding that how the philosophy comes into life, how the theory turns into practical. So at the stage of knowledge, it is like theory. And when it comes to realization, it becomes the practical in the life. So that is not going to happen overnight. Okay. So as earlier we have pointed the gradual development of Krishna consciousness in one's life. यथा यथात्मा परिमृज्यते असो मत पुण्य गाथा श्रवण अभिधाने तथा तथा पश्यति वस्तु सूक्ष्मम चक्षुर यथैव अंजन संप्रयुक्तम. So this 11th canto is a very nice example given that yatha yathatma parimrijyate aso mat punya gatha shravan abhidhane. By the process of mat punya gatha shravan, Krishna is speaking, by hearing my punya gatha, my auspicious narrations. What happens? Yatha yathatma parimrijyate aso. As one goes on hearing yatha yatha, what happens? Tatha tatha pashyati vastu shukshmam. In that order, he will see the sukshma. Sukshma means the very, very subtle nuances of the philosophy and understandings he will get. And the example he gives is chakshur yathaiva anjana samprayuktam. Just like one applies some kajal, some Matajis may have that knowledge about it, understanding about that. How when one applies some anjana, it has some burning effect in the eye sometimes. So in childhood, we used to also apply, mothers used to apply it for us. So it has some burning up, actually sensation in the eye. But actually the tears come out of the eye, which cleanses the eye. Actually, yeah. So it is not used nowadays, but that is very old technique actually, which is used in Vedic times. That the eye becomes more and more, clean. Okay, even though the tears may come, but eyes is clean, and then it is also used as a you know uh, decoration for one's own eyes. Nowadays they may have some other things, I don't know, but this Anjana is just like we say, na, Gyan Anjana Shalakaya. So that is there in our prayers also. So Shalaka actually is a medicinal pin which was used earlier in the Vedic times. So that is a pin which when the person used to have night blindness, okay, night blindness person is treated by that Shalaka. That pin is inserted in his eye actually. So that has a Gyan Anjan. Basically, the Anjan is a medicine. So Anjan is put on the Shalaka or the needle, and then it is inserted in the eye. So it pricks. But the medicine is there so that cures the night blindness actually. So that example is being given in our prayers. Chakshu unmilitam means that night blindness is gone. Okay, one is not able to see in the darkness. So that tama or the whatever the ignorance is there, that is destroyed. Okay, that night blindness is gone. So basically, it is very, very important that one understands that how theory turns into practical. So Prabhupada is saying that realization will come here of what kind of things of this being equipoised in what happiness and distress. So as I was, it has been many times told earlier. So Sita Ushna, okay, that shloka, if you remember, there also this same example is given. In the Sita and Ushna, he is equipoised, correct? So he has been explaining, Krishna has been explaining this many places actually. Yeah. And then other qualities, he is tolerant. Okay, so this was Sama. Okay. He is equal, equipoised, like that. And then he is tolerant. Okay. So what is that word used for it? Shami. Okay. So balance translated about Shami here as forgiving. Okay. Yeah, here it is there. He is tolerant and he is satisfied with whatever comes by the grace of the Supreme Lord. Santushta. Yeah, so that is also told here. Santushta, he is satisfied. Okay. So he is satisfied. He does not endeavor. That Santushta he is explaining. He does not endeavor much to achieve something with great difficulty. Therefore, he is always joyful. Okay. Not even in Bhakti Sam Sindhu, in the first 20 limbs, this comes that Maharambho Parityage. Okay, like that he explains that very big projects which are not related to Krishna consciousness should be avoided. Okay, like that. One should not do very major endeavors for non-Krishna conscious projects. Like that, Rupa Goswami says in the 13th or 14th limb it comes there. Okay, so one should not do too much endeavor for materialistic life, for developing one's own materialistic progress. Not too much endeavor. Okay, like that. Because why, one may ask, Prabhu, why one should not do? Because the happiness and distress in this life is already fixed by the past pious and non-pious deeds. So, if you see the first canto, 5th chapter, 10th shloka says, okay, that uh, one, whatever happiness and distress is fixed, but the endeavor in Krishna consciousness, as much as one does, that much one will make progress in Krishna consciousness. Okay. So that is explained in that shloka. One can refer that later. Okay, he is completely perfect mystic yogi. So he is yogi. Okay, that yogi word now, Prabhupada is explained here. Okay, Satatam yogi. Because he is fixed, Satatam, in the instructions received from the spiritual master. So spiritual master teaches from the Shastra and he is fixed in the instruction of the Shastra. And then his senses are controlled. Yatatma, self-control, like that. And Dhrida Nishchaya, he is determined. So all these things Prabhupada explained. He is not swayed by false arguments. Yeah. Dhrida Nishchaya. Because no one can lead him from fixed determination. That same thing he is explaining. Dhrida Nishchaya. Yes, Matri.
He is fully conscious that Krishna is eternal Lord, so no one can disturb him. All these qualifications enable him to fix his mind and intelligence entirely on the Supreme Lord. Such a standard of devotional service is undoubtedly very rare, but a devotee becomes situated in that stage by following the regulative principle of devotional service. Furthermore, the Lord says that such a devotee is very dear to him, for the Lord is always pleased with all his activities in full Krishna consciousness.
Yeah. So further qualities Prabhupada explaining. He is fully conscious that Krishna is the eternal Lord, so no one can disturb him. Same thing, Dhrida he is continuing the last point as he told. And all this qualification enable him to fix his mind and intelligence. So if you see the shloka, he has made a point that Mai Arpita Mano Buddhi. Okay. So Mana and Buddhi, both he has entirely given to the Supreme Lord. Such a standard of devotional is undoubtedly very rare. Okay. So this very rare refers to the Keval Bhakta. Why not Pradhanibhut Bhakta? Because he is not completely fixed in mind and intelligence for Krishna. He has some part of Jnana or Ashtanga Yoga or the Karma in his aspirations for a Pradhanibhut Bhakta, as we discussed. So this quality belongs only to Keval Bhakta, that fully fixed in Krishna only, like that. Okay. Hmm. Furthermore, the Lord says that such a devotee is very dear for him. So Mad Bhakta Same Priyaha. So such a devotee is very, very dear with all these qualities. And the Lord is always pleased with all his activity in full Krishna consciousness. Yeah. Okay. So further qualities Krishna is saying of such personality. Yasman no udvijite loko lokan no udvijite jayah harsha harsha marsha bhayodvegah mukto yah sa cha me priyah. Okay. Another Harinam Prabhu, would you like to read?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. He by whom no one is put into difficulty and who is not disturbed by anyone, who is equipped in happiness and distress, fear and anxiety is very dear to me.
Yeah. So some qualities of the previous verse, if you see, they are here also. So Yasman no udvijate. So udvijate is agitation, udvega. Okay, or like the way word is vega. Okay, so manasa krodha vegam jiva vegam udhara vegam. Okay, like that. So from there the word udvijate is coming. Udvega basically. So yasmat, in such a personality or for this person who is a devotee. Okay. From whom na udvijate loko. And from him the world is not disturbed. By whom the world is not disturbed. And then secondly is vice versa also saying he is not disturbed by the world. See how no one is put into difficulty by him, and then who is not disturbed by anyone. So both are like vice versa of each other. He is not disturbed and he doesn't disturb to others. And similarly in Bhakti Sam Sindhu, the qualities of a devotee, when it is explained that what qualities devotees have. So after Kleshagni, then Goswami continues to explain that uh, this devotional service bestows many good qualities, Shubhada, many auspicious qualities. In that, he explains that how the devotee is Jagat Prinanam as well as Sarva Jagat Anuraktata. Both the qualities are there. Means he is very dear to the world. At the same time, for the world, he feels very endearing. Means he very much loves the world, and the world loves him. Okay, so that quality is explained by Rupa Goswami there. That for a devotee, Jagat Pirinanam as well as Sarv Jagat Anuraktata. Okay, he has Anuraktata, attachment for the whole world, giving his compassion to the world, or preaching Krishna consciousness to the world, like Srila Prabhupada. He went across the globe 14 times, correct? And 108 temples he built, so many farm projects, and so many things. So, like that, he has the compassion for the Lord. At the same time, the world shows love for such a person. Okay, like that. So, such a devotee is very dear to the Lord, he's saying. And then Harsha, so that is happiness, and Amarsh, distress. Marsh is again non-distress. Amarsh is which is distress. Okay, so Harsha, Amarsh, and then what? Bhaya and Udveg, four things. He is mukta. He is freed of these things. Okay, and such a person, yes, is very dear to me again. Okay. So same thing was explained also in previous shloka that how he is equipoised in happiness and distress. Some same thing is almost here. Okay. Read the purport. Yes, please. Please read the purport.
A few of a devotee's qualifications are further being described. No one is put into difficulty, anxiety, fearfulness, or dissatisfaction by such a devotee. Since a devotee is kind to everyone, he does not act in such a way as to put others into anxiety. At the same time, if others try to put a devotee into anxiety, he is not disturbed. It is by the grace of the Lord that he is so practiced that he is not disturbed by any outward disturbance. Actually, because a devotee is always engrossed in Krishna consciousness and engaged in devotional service, such material circumstances cannot move.
Yeah. So, few devotees qualification are further described. No one is put into difficulty. Yashmat no udvijito loko. So, no one else is put into difficulty by him, or anxiety, or fearfulness, or dissatisfaction by such a person. Okay, he doesn't do all this to the whole world or anybody. Actually, yeah, a devotee may not do it for the whole world, but he may sometime do it for somebody who is he more in touch with. Like we are in a family, so we may have to interact with the family members more often. Or when one is in any other place like brahmacharis, then they may have some co-brahmacharis whom they may have to interact in the daily life more often. So as some devotee was saying that it's not that one has to speak or deal cordially with the whole world, but he has to try to deal cordially with that person or those people whom he deals mostly in the day. Okay, so it may be some other co-workers in the office, or it may be co-devotees in the ashram, or it may be the family members like that. Okay, so the difficulty may not be faced with the whole world, but as such, the testing situations are arriving every day in one's life with the close members whom he may interact with like that. So he doesn't cause difficulty for anyone. Okay, and he tries his best to not do so. Okay, and if it happens unknowingly, then he seeks forgiveness. Okay, like that. So since a devotee is kind to everyone, he does not act in such a way to put others into anxiety. Okay, he never plans for putting anybody else into anxiety. Okay, that is not the characteristic of a devotee basically. Okay, so he never plans to put anybody else into anxiety, but he can take the anxiety sometimes if some devotee may do it unknowingly. Okay, it's like if you see here, Prabhupada is further he is explaining that he is not also disturbed. If somebody else may put upon him some anxiety, then he doesn't take it too much seriously. Like we were hearing this recently Ram Navami Katha. So there, yeah, so there is a story basically that may be relevant here. So it was being explained that how at one time Mother Sita was talking to Lord Ram and she was giving a feedback basically to Lord Ram. So, so Prabhuji was explaining how one should give a feedback to very close people in the family or husband or wife basically. So he was saying that Mother Sita is not giving a direct feedback, but she is speaking a shloka from some scripture. And then she is saying what she wants to say to Lord Ram, but she is not saying it directly, but she is saying it through a shloka. And that shloka says that actually any person who is very well behaved, he total four characteristics. He says, I'm going to say only one part. So she's saying that actually, if any person keeps the bow with him always, bow and arrow with him always, then it may happen that he may be overtaken by passion of his because of his Kshatriya spirit. And he may do something which he may not have done or he should not be doing. So for that, Mother Sita gives one example that there was a king there was a rishi who was doing his penances for many years. He didn't have any intention of getting any higher post, but Indra thought that maybe he is doing it for taking my post. And many times it happens, we see so that Indra feels insecure. And then he came down as a king, and always Indra has very novel plans of disturbing people. So he came down this time with in the attire of a king, and then the king had a sword, and then Indra went to this yogi and this rishi, and he told, "Can you just please take care of this sword for some time? I'm just going to take a bath in the river, and I'll come back." And the sage said, "Yeah, no problem, you can do so." So the king went to take bath, and he never returned. And this sage was very perplexed. What is happening? Why this king is not coming back? And then he was waiting for a few hours, and then almost 1 day, 2 day, 1 week passed. The king is never coming back because Indra just left. And this sage was thinking, what to do with this sword now? So he was looking at the sword and he was seeing back and forth, and somehow he was getting too much attracted to the sword, and he started losing his yogic practices and he started practicing the swords arts. And then he got so much distracted that he became a Kshatriya. I forgot all his yogic practices and became so much a Kshatriya. And then he was started fighting and he became some king like that. And Indra thought, yeah, my whatever I came to do, and that is success now. And then he's not practicing any more yogic things now. So basically, this story is told by Mother Sita, and then Lord Ram didn't reply at that time anything, understanding what Mother Sita is trying to tell. And then Mother Sita told at the end that actually it should not happen that you are also overtaken by passion. And this bow and arrow you should not keep always with you. Like that, Mother Sita is actually trying to give a feedback which she gave through this story, or she gave through this shloka of the scripture. And then she said at the end that actually this bow and arrow, I have never seen you in last 14 years to be used so much actually. Only once Khar and Dushan, they were punished. They were killed. And then I've never seen you using this actually, bow and arrow, but you always keep it with you. It very much looks like the bangles in my hand. Like that, she told to Lord Ram. For any Kshatriya of like Lord Ram, obviously, it seems very difficult actually to take such statements. But as we know, Lord Ram has very endearing qualities and he never retaliated at that time, and he understood I will answer to this question at the right time. So why I gave this example? So there the lesson of the story was Mother Sita is teaching how to give the feedback, but also Lord Ram is teaching us how to accept the feedback. So he is not agitated there. How could you say like this? you don't know my caliber, you don't know, there are so many other shlokas which say so many other things. He's not retaliating basically. He's not so much anxiety. Many times we think, why such devotee said such something to me? ऐसा क्यों कह दिया मुझे? वो ऐसे ही कह दिया, मजाक में कह दिया. So we take it sometimes very seriously, and then we get into so much anxiety. So that was the point I was trying to say here, that devotee is very kind to everyone and doesn't take others some unconscious or unintended activity which may cause anxiety to us very seriously. But if somebody is consciously and intending to cause some harm to us because of whatever reason, then we keep a safe distance from them. We should not be foolish again. As here, if you see, actually, because the devotee is always engrossed in Krishna, engaged in devotional service, such material circumstances cannot move in. Okay, but at the same time, if somebody is, whether it is some other devotee or somebody materialistic person, if really trying to cause trouble to us, and that is only the goal of his life, then we try to keep a respectful distance from them. Okay, so one should not think that, yeah, actually whatever may come in my life is all coming by Krishna's grace. What can I do? No, one should not think like that. One has to be little intelligent also. Okay, that is the point. Yes, please continue.
Generally, a materialistic person become very happy when there is something for his sense gratification and his body. But when he sees that others have something for their sense gratification and he hasn't, he is sorry and envious. When he is expecting some retaliation from an enemy, he is in the state of fear. And when he cannot successfully execute something, he becomes dejected. A devotee who is always transcendental to all these disturbances is very dear to Krishna.
Yeah. So yeah, actually, again, Krishna is explaining the quality of devotee, that how he is not attached to the body or the things which are giving pleasure for the body or the senses, like that. Whatever comes on its own accord, basically. Okay, Harsha, Amarsha, Bhaya, Udvega, Mukto. Okay, like that. So he is free from too much being anxious about what is there with others, what is not there with him. Like this is a materialistic mentality that nowadays it is like, there was an advertisement which said, what is it, neighbors, jealousy, your pride, something like that. What is it? Something like that is a neighbors, jealousy, your pride, or there is also another tagline of one company that enjoy the envy of others or enjoy the jealousy of others, like that. Basically, what they try to do is entice envy or jealousness in others. If you have something metal equipment which may be very posh or very costly, then it doesn't entice so much of respect or anything else from others, but it more entices, or it more invites enviousness or jealousness from the other people in the materialistic society. So Prabhupada is warning that should not also come into devotees community. But what the devotee should think, that if he sees some kind of things like this with a materialistic person, they have something for their sense gratification, okay, then that he may not have, he is sorry. Okay, see, generally materialistic, he's saying about the materialistic person, he feels sorry and he feels envious, correct? So, but the devotees should not be like this. Okay, so when he is expecting some retaliation from an enemy, he is in a state of fear. And when he cannot successfully execute something, he becomes dejected. So these are all the characteristics of a materialistic person. Okay, but for a devotee, he is always transcendental to all such kind of disturbances in his life. Okay, and it's not very easy actually to do, because when there is some retaliation or some actually harsh words spoken about us or some injustice towards us, it becomes very difficult actually for any devotee to just be transcendental. Okay, one has to be really transcendental to be like that. Actually, it's not so much easy. Okay, to just to forget and forgive anybody like that. So it takes some time. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Anybody has any questions till now what we discussed? Then we can go to the next shloka. Okay, then we will continue. We'll take one more shloka and then pause for some time. Okay, then continue 17th. अनपेक्ष शुचिर्दक्ष उदासीनो गतव्यथः सर्वारंभ परित्यागी यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः. श्री गंगा पुत्र को
my devotee who is not dependent on the ordinary course of activity, who is pure, expert, without care, free from all pain, and not striving for some result, is very dear to me.
Not striving for some result. Very dear to me. Anapeksha. So he is neutral. Apeksha nahi hai. He is not too much having apeksha or demands. Suchir Daksha, he is Suchi, pure. Daksha, he is expert. Udasino Gata Vyatha. Udasina, he is free from cares. Gata Vyatha, freed from all distress. So same thing previously what was told also is continued. Sarva Arambha Parityagi. Okay, he is renouncer of all the endeavors. Basically materialistic endeavors. Okay. Yo Mad Bhakta Samay Priya. Again, Krishna is using the word Priya. He is very dear to me. To Mad Bhakta, such a devotee of man. Yes, please read.
He is without He is without aspiration, nihas paraha, enjoying what comes to its own accord, and is without expectation. He has internal and external purity, Suchi. He is skillful, Daksha, being able on his own to deliberate on the meaning of scripture. He is neutral, Udasinaha, not taking sides. He is without distress, Gata Vayataha. Even though wronged by others, he does not make any attempts which are contrary to his practice of devotion. Sarva Rambaha Parityagi.
Yeah, so again, one by one, Baldev Devotion will explain. Nispriha, he is without aspiration. What kind of aspirations? Material aspirations. Not that he doesn't have any spiritual aspirations. Okay, one should not think that, oh, how can I have any spiritual aspiration? No, not that way. Okay, he is explaining in the context of materialistic things. And he is also without expectations for the materialistic things. Okay, but not for spiritual things. In spiritual life, he has expectations that, okay, I have to progress in the order as given by the Rupa Goswami. Like 9 stages, he says that Shraddha, then there is Sadhu Sangha, then Bhajan Kriya, then Anat Nivritti, then Nishtha, then Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, Prema, like that. These are kind of expectations he has in his life. That yes, I will progress in this order. Not that, oh, how can I expect anything? Everything happens by Lord's mercy. Okay, I don't have to put my endeavor anything. He doesn't go and think like that. Okay. It is for materialistic expectations and aspirations that here Krishna is saying. And he is having internal and external purity. So yeah, actually one point can be explained so much, but we are not going into too much of detail. So internal purity and external purity. Many other places also Prabhupada explains, and in his lectures, if you want, you can see Prabhupada explained this internal and external purity. Okay, internal purity is trying to avoid the desires of sense gratification, lust, anger, greed, envy, illusion, pride, basically. These are like internal impurity. And then external purity, obviously cleanliness of the body, okay, of cleanliness of our surrounding area, of our house, okay, whatever. These kind of things that is mentioned. And he is skillful, he is daksha. In what? He is skillful in what? He is skillful in able to understand the meaning of the scriptures. He doesn't expect everything one line to be explained by Siksha Guru or Diksha Guru. They have given the essential principles, and Prabhupada explained the essential things in his books. Acharyas have explained essential principles. Based on them, he is able to connect one section to other. He is able to deliberate on the scriptures and able to get more and more inner meanings which are in alignment with what he has studied from his guru. Not that he is getting some newer and newer meanings which are opposite to the realization of the previous acharyas and gurus. So for that, you can read 1.4.1 per part. What is the meaning of realization? Okay. So self-realization, what is the meaning of that? Okay, what is the meaning of personal realization? So Prabhupada explains in that purport very nicely that how the realization is not by surpassing the previous acharyas, or not by manipulating the instruction of the previous acharyas, or not by jumping the acharyas like that. Okay, so many things Prabhupada explains, but it is presenting the same essential meanings of the scripture in a very palatable way, which is very, nicely appealing for the crowd, basically, that he explains. So that is skillful person. And he is neutral, he is udasina, not taking sides. So if there may be two sides of the among the devotees, basically, where it is there sometimes, we should not take one side of the devotee. That's important principle also. Okay. So sometimes in management, it may be there that we may have to take the side of the truth. Okay, that is okay, because for that is for the service of the propagation of Krishna consciousness. So one may have to take some side in managerial position, but in general, one should not go and is on his own and go to one side of the devotees and demean the other side. It should not happen like that. Okay, he is without distress. Gata even though wronged by others. This is what I was explaining previously. Not very easy. Even though somebody else may tell us something, so we are not feeling anxious about it. But at the same time, one should not think, oh, there may be some rumor spreading about me. What can I do? I should not feel distressful about it. No, these are some things are there which may be rumor about oneself. Then one should go and clarify to the devotee community and to the society and to the concerned devotees, basically. It's not that one should think, oh, whatever Krishna is planning, that is only happening. No problem. Krishna is in control. Not even a blade of grass moves without Krishna's will. So how can this happen without Krishna's will? Not like that. Okay, one should surely, like, if there is something we know about other devotee and something rumor is being spread about him, then surely we should go and clarify. And if it is about us also, we should clarify. Okay, and if there is something which is glorified about us, which is not our credit, that also we should go and clarify that, Prabhu, this is not my credit. Why this service I have not done, but somehow this service is being glorified in my name. Sometimes devotee take only one part of this. That okay, only difficult statements we will not accept, but there is something good which can be always accepted. Okay, it should not be like that. Okay, because it is said one of the statements of his Holiness Radhana Swami Maharaj is that if something wrong is happening to us today and we are feeling some anxiety because of others, we should understand that we have taken undue credit of something which was not given, which was not supposed to be taken by us in earlier time. So we should understand that some undue credit we have taken of something which we have not done, which is coming in another way to give us a lesson that what you have not done now, that also credit is coming to you. So yeah, it should be done both the ways. He does not make many attempts which are contrary to the practice of devotion. Yeah. So anukulasya sankalpa parikulasya pratikulasya varjana. Whatever unfavorable, and nobody knows better than us. Not even our counselor or spiritual master may know better what is not good for us, what is bad for us, and what is good for us. Nobody knows better than ourselves actually. So it will be good if we are able to be honest with ourselves actually. Okay. So actually there is a book Sukha Mataji has written, very nice book. She has written and she gives a subtitle to that book that some truths about the lies we tell to ourselves. Okay, the subtitle of the book that some truths about the lies we tell to ourselves. Okay, so basically that is the subtitle. So we have to also be honest with ourselves that what is good for us we should accept, what is not good we should reject. But many times we may do it on the level of like and dislike. Okay, so like and dislike we should try to avoid, but we should accept on the basis of anukul and pratikul to our devotional service. This should be our value system. Okay, our decision should be made based on this principle. Okay, we should not make the decisions in our life based on this principle of like and dislike. Okay, what I like or what this is made decision by those people who are materialistic value system basically. They are under the fully under three modes. They don't have any scriptural knowledge. So, but when we have the shastric knowledge, we know what is right, what is wrong. So then we can take help of such knowledge, higher intelligence, and accept what is anukul and what is pratikul. And many times we may be able to give good guidance to others. But when it comes to self guidance, we forget whatever is good and whatever is bad. So we should approach another person who is senior and not only senior, but he is also suhrit. Suhrit means he is compassionate to us and he is having like-mindedness with us. He also has loving feelings towards us. Okay, we should approach such a superior and we should take guidance from such superiors. Not only those who are superiors, because not every superior will be like-minded and not every superior will be having always understanding our heart and having very warm dealing with us like that. Warm, I mean to say they understand our heart. At least they are trying to understand. Okay, like that. Yes, please continue.
Srila Prabhupada, money may be offered to devotee, but he should not struggle to acquire it. If automatically, by the grace of the Supreme, money comes to him, he is not agitated. Naturally, a devotee takes a bath at least twice in a day and 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 rises early in the morning for devotional service. Thus, he is naturally clean both inwardly and outwardly. A devotee is always expert because he fully knows the senses of all activities of life and he is convinced of the authoritative scriptures. A devotee never takes part of a particular party, therefore, he is carefree. He is never pained because he is free from all designations. He knows that his body is designation. So, so if there are some bodily pains, he is free. The pure devotee does not endeavor for any
Your
One
voice.
constructing a big
great energy. And a
Prabhu,
devotee
can
does
you read again from here?
yeah. A pure devotee does not endeavor for anything which is against the principles of devotional service. For example, constructing a big building requires great energy, and a devotee does not take to such a business if it does not benefit him by advancing his devotional service. He may construct a temple for the Lord, and for that he may take all kinds of anxiety, but he does not construct a big house for his personal relation.
Hmm. Yeah, very nicely. Prabhupada explained these points in another angle actually. So money may be offered to a devotee, but he should not struggle to acquire it. Yeah. So mainly it's important for the grihasthas, who are the only members of the society who earn money or who are allowed to earn money. But others may not be. Others basically they depend on the grihasthas because grihasthas take care of the other three limbs of the society basically. And main dharma of the grihastha is charity, and for the brahmachari it is austerity. And yeah, so money can maybe offered to a devotee, but he should not struggle to acquire it. Yeah, so one should not make very big endeavor and struggle in the sense that Prabhupada explains other places that he is working 16 hours, 20 hours per day for earning money. That much is not required for living a livelihood actually. Okay, so one can do the needful, whatever is required for the family, and he can have surely some time for Krishna consciousness. That is the highest priority because in his life, a devotee. Okay, if automatically by the grace of Supreme Lord money comes to him, he is not agitated. Oh, so now Prabhupada, when he had 40 rupees, also he was the same person, and when he had 40 crores, also he was the same person. He was not agitated because of the worth of his institute, like his one. Okay, it is making so much turnover now. Now he is agitated. No, not like that. Because equipoised in all the times. And then we can see how Prabhupada left the planet, he entered the spiritual world. Okay, he told or kono iksha nahi. That he has attained whatever he wanted, everything material, everything spiritual, everything Krishna gave him. Okay, Krishna personally protected his life when he was going on journey with him. Okay, like that. So naturally, devotee takes bath. Yeah. So this is external cleanliness and internal cleanliness. Prabhupada explained. So he rises early in the morning. Devotional service he performs throughout the day also. Yeah, he's naturally clean. So cleanliness and all these qualities basically, I will show at the end that reference from Bhakti Sam Sindhu. It says that one doesn't have to endeavor externally to acquire all these qualities. Rupa Goswami says just by practice of the bhakti, all these qualities will automatically come in a devotee. Okay, this cleanliness and so many other things, whatever was mentioned earlier and whatever is going to come, Rupa Goswami says that all this is going to come. And when does Rupa Goswami explain? He explains it at the end of the 64 limbs. When he explains all that, then he explains there are some limbs of, there are some things, some elements which are not part of limbs of bhakti, like cleanliness and all. So he explains how does this come into devotee. He says it automatically comes by following the limbs of the bhakti. Okay, this kind of things like cleanliness and all other things like this. Okay. Yeah, a devotee is always expert because he has conviction on the authoritative scriptures. And Baldev Bhushan, he said that he is able to deliberate. If you see that statement, here he said he is able to deliberate on the meaning of the scripture. Same thing Prabhupada has explained here. Devotee never takes part in the particular party. Yeah. So now elections are coming. Obviously, all of you should vote. But it's not that one votes in a materialistic consciousness. Whatever is best for Krishna consciousness, you know whom to vote, like that. Okay. So he is never pained because he is free from all designations. Yeah, body is a designation. So if there are some bodily pains, he is free. It's not that he is careless about his body, but he is not so much engrossed into the bodily consciousness, basically. That balance he knows. Okay, because idam shariram khalu dharma sadhana. Okay, it's a very important instrument for doing the sadhana. Okay, because if we don't have service like building temple. Okay, like that. So Prabhupada made a very big project in Mayapur. Okay, there had not been any bigger project than that Mayapur project, which is still not completed. So one can say, Are Prabhuji, so Sarva Arambha Parityagi Krishna is saying, oh, such a big construction Prabhupada told, still devotees are struggling. No, that is not struggle. That is their love for Prabhupada. They are trying to do. And that is making them progress in bhakti. And then some devotee in Vrindavan Prabhupada told that your sadhana is to count cement bags. You leave your chanting and all if you are not focusing on if the cement bags are getting stolen. Okay, your sadhana is to count the cement bags. Basically, we should not take it literally. Yeah. And at the same time, one has to understand the emphasis of the acharyas that one should not think that just like previous chapter 11.55 Prabhupada explained, mat karma, Krishna karma, correct? Working for Krishna, building temples, cultivating a garden, tulsi plants, so many things Prabhupada told, right? So all that comes into Krishna consciousness. He may construct a big temple, but not a big house. Okay, like that. So a person, basically the point is not only about house, but any aspect of materialistic civilization. A devotee is not too much engrossed into it and doesn't spend too much time into planning how my big house should be, okay, how my this thing should be, because that is ultimately going to be lost in some time, and it's not so much important as much as the spiritual life. Okay, but doesn't mean that one doesn't have a house only. Okay, one cannot be at the level of Lord Shiva, who doesn't have any house, but one has to be practical and do what is needed actually. Okay, one should not be at both the extremes. Okay, so we'll pause and we'll meet after 5-10 minutes. No, it's 12:40, 12:50, right? Yeah. So 1 o'clock, we'll come back and complete this. Okay. Yes, thank you. Yes.
He has given up both piety and sin because they are both causes of bondage.
Yeah. So if you see this line is explained, Shubha, Ashubha, Parityagi. Okay. So he has given up both piety and sin. Okay. Basically, that which is based on the uh, principles of karma kanda, or something which is a principle lower than the principles of Krishna consciousness. For a devotee, because he has Shraddha in Krishna and the scriptures of Bhakti Yoga, his main focus is in Krishna consciousness principles. He accepts that as the highest. Like Arjuna, he was a devotee of Lord, so at the end he agreed to fight not because he was a Kshatriya, but because he was devotee and he wanted to follow the instruction of Krishna. Many times people get wrong understanding of Bhagavad Gita. They think that Krishna told Arjuna to fight because he was a Kshatriya and Arjuna fought because he was a Kshatriya. That is true from the understanding of the Karma Yoga principle. That in the Karma Yoga system, one has to do the duties as one is having faith in Karma Yoga scriptures. And if he is Kshatriya, he should do his Kshatriya duties. But Krishna, because the instruction of Krishna is based on Bhakti Yoga, which is higher for a devotee. For a Karma Yogi, Bhakti Yoga is not relevant. For a Karma Yogi, Karma Yoga is relevant. Those scriptures are relevant, which say that you should follow your duties of Kshatriya. But if Arjuna, being a devotee, for him, Bhakti Yoga principles are highest. And what is the highest principles of Bhakti Yoga? It says that the instructions of Krishna are higher than compared to the instructions of Karma Yoga Shastras, Karma Shastras. Okay, or Dharma Shastra basically. So for a devotee, the instruction of Krishna is highest. So that's why Arjuna fought the war, because it was instruction of Krishna. But if Krishna told you should not fight the war, like he told to Prithu Maharaj, give up the yajna. According to the duty of the king, he should perform the yajna. Ashwamedh yajna, 100th yajna, he should have performed. Whether he will get the Indra's post or not, that is a secondary thing for him. But for the benefit of his citizens, like Yudhishthira Maharaj performed 3 Ashwamedh yajnas. He performed also Rajaswa yajna. So it's for the benefit of citizens. He did. But if Krishna told, Vishnu told to Prithu Maharaj, don't do the 100th yajna. So he did not consider, no, I am Kshatriya, I should do it. No, for a devotee, highest principle is the instruction of Krishna and his Guru. Okay. So this is a very, very important point we should understand that for us, there may be the Dharma Shastras. What are Dharma Shastras? Which teach one based on what is right and wrong. Okay. Based on Dharma principles. Okay. Dharma and Adharma they teach. Okay. This is one level of scripture. But there is another level of scripture for us, which is Bhakti Shastra. So where we have Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita is like more of Gaudiya scripture, obviously. Bhakti Shastra, they teach us what is Anukul and what is Pratikul for us. So for us, the Bhakti Shastras are higher compared to the Dharma Shastras. So sometimes Dharma Shastras may explain, Yudhishthira Maharaj had to go to hell also. He had to see hell because he told lie. So such principles are told in Mahabharata sometimes, or sometimes told for whom it is told for those people who have faith in Karma Kanda or Dharma Shastra, so that they don't speak lie. They may think that, oh, Yudhishthira Maharaj also had to see the hell. Such a great king, he had to see hell. What if I speak lie? I will also have to go to hell. So they will learn such principles and they will say, okay. But a devotee, he understands from the Acharya's perspective that Yudhishthira Maharaj being a eternal associate of the Lord, there is no question of him committing any sinful activity, but it was a plan of the Lord in his life to make him speak lie. Okay, like that. So he doesn't have to go and see hell, but the interpretation of the Karma Kandi people may be like that, and the lessons may be also derived out, and which is not wrong at their level. It is completely right for them, but it's not right for us to understand in that way. Okay, this is very, very important principle. Okay, so we have to understand that for us, Bhakti Shastra is highest, and why a devotee acts in his life is because what the Bhakti Shastra say. Okay, what is right for him is what is Anukul, and what is wrong for him, what is Pratikul for his Bhakti. Okay, so this principle actually is a very, very life practicing principle we should imbibe in our life, that we follow the principles of Krishna consciousness as the highest. So Arjuna is not to be understood fighting because he is a Kshatriya. That may be from an external point of view, true to some extent. And Krishna also may tell sometime that, "Arey, you are a Kshatriya, if you don't fight, then you will not get Swarga." That lessons are coming out in which section? That's coming out in the Karma Kanda section. But if you see the Bhakti slokas, did anywhere Krishna tell in Bhakti Yoga that ninth chapter or in the 7 to 12 chapter, anywhere did Krishna tell that if you don't fight, you will get not get Swarga? He never told now. Okay, so we have to understand what is being told at what level. Acharya has clearly explained it. That Krishna told Arjuna to fight because he was a devotee, and Arjuna followed it because he was a devotee, not because he was a Kshatriya. Okay, so for a devotee also similarly, piety and sin don't matter so much. Why? Because he is concerned with what is favorable for his Krishna consciousness, okay, and what is unfavorable. Okay, he is not much concerned about whether it is a lie or a truth, it is pious or impious. He is not so much concerned about it. But he is more concerned about whether it is pleasing to Krishna, whether it is displeasing to Krishna and devotees. That is his highest consideration. Okay. Yes, so please read.
A pure devotee is neither happy nor distressed over material gain and loss, nor is he very much anxious to get a son or disciple, nor is he distressed by not getting them. If he loses anything which is very dear to him, he does not lament. Similarly, if he does not get what he desires, he is not distressed. He is transcendental in the face of all kinds of auspicious, inauspicious, and sinful activities. He is prepared to accept all kinds of risk for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. Nothing is an impediment in the discharge of his devotional service. Such a devotee is very dear to Krishna.
Yeah, thank you. So here, Prabhupada is explaining nicely that a pure devotee is never happy or not distressed. So again, it's like last shloka told, Harsha, Amarsha. Same thing here, Krishna is continuing. Na rishyati, na dveshti. Okay, and na sochti, na kankshati. Okay, not distressed over material gain or loss. Okay, so again, Prabhupada is speaking about the material gain or loss. So, but he is concerned about what? Spiritual gain or loss. Okay, his thoughts are always about spiritual gain and loss. How I should avoid doing aparadha of the devotees, because he understands that so much years of practice I am doing of bhakti, and bit by bit I am trying to progress in Krishna consciousness. But by doing once, Vaishnava aparadha, so many years of practice of my bhakti are just gone away. Okay, he understands that by doing aparadha to the devotees, so many years of practice are being nullified. And again, I am back to the same position. I have lost so much of faith in the scripture I may lose, or the faith in the gurus, or faith in Krishna. So much of spiritual drawback will come in my life. So he's concerned about such kind of things, not about his materialistic gain or loss. Okay, he is not much anxious to get a son or a disciple, and neither is anxious if he doesn't get both things. Prabhupada explained. Okay, if he loses anything which is dear to him, he does not lament. So now one may think, oh, why did Arjuna lament so much when he lost his son? First thing, that was not a material thing for him. It was his son who was a devotee, first of all. Abhimanyu was a devotee. That is first thing. Second thing, it is natural, as Prabhupada explains in those purports. It's natural for a father to feel for his son. But what is Prabhupada telling here to avoid is this point actually. It should not become an impediment in his discharge of bhakti. That so much Arjuna started lamenting that he stopped fighting. That should not happen. Like in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, obviously, Arjuna was lamenting. So he was told as skin disease or like those things Prabhupada explains. So we have to understand such kind of lamentation is not good, that bhakti is at stake. Okay, Arjuna, he lamented for his son. He should lament.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Not able to hear. Not able to hear.
Still not able to hear?
Now it's clear.
Okay,
Last
what
couple
you
of
heard
minutes-
last?
Last couple of minutes, I think we missed. One and a
What
half
you heard
minutes.
last?
The last point you said, such kind of lamentation is not good where bhakti faces.
Okay, yeah, that was. Yeah, basically, it should not become an impediment in bhakti. Okay, that's what I explained. Yeah, he is transcendental in the face of all kinds. Okay, yeah, here also. If he does not get what he desires, he is not distressed. Yeah. Okay, and transcendental in the face of all kinds of auspicious, inauspicious, and sinful activities. Uh, as we understand that a devotee has more faith in his spiritual practices compared to the practice which may be coming in his family lineage because of some reasons, which may not be based on Krishna conscious principles, which may be considered auspicious in the family because of some practices. So one doesn't discard them, but he doesn't have faith in them. Okay, he doesn't have faith in them, thinking that, oh, if I don't do this, my Krishna consciousness will be affected. He doesn't think like that. Okay. But at the same time, he doesn't agitate his family members by not doing it. So like that. So Om Apavitra Pavitrava Sarva Avastha Gato Peva Ya Asmare Pundrik Aksham Sah Bahya Abhyantara Suchi. So one who remembers the lotus-eyed Supreme Lord, he is cleansed internally, externally, even though he might have gone through all the kinds of circumstances in his life. Sarva avastha gatopi va. He might have undergone all pure and impure things in his life, but just by remembering the Lord, one is pure internally, externally. But yeah, it's not that one should endeavor to do such sinful activity. But if he has undergone because of not having any knowledge, then it is all cleared. That's what is told here. Okay, we go to the next shloka. 18th, 19th. Samaha satrau cha mitre cha तथा मानापमानयो शीतोष्ण सुख दुःखेषु समासंगा विवर्जितः तुल्यनिन्दा स्तुतिर्मौनि सन्तुष्टो येन केनचित् अनिकेता स्थितिर्मतिः भक्तिमान् मे प्रियो नरः. Okay, yes, Dipali Mataji, would like to read?
Network is
Yeah, please read. Okay, network is issue you told. Okay, okay. I didn't get it. Somebody else can read. Yamuna Vilaspu, are you okay to read?
Yes, Prabhuji, I can.
Yeah, please.
Translation. One who is equal to friends and enemies, who is equipoised in honor and dishonor, heat and cold, happiness and distress, fame and infamy, who is always free from contaminating association, always silent and satisfied with anything, who doesn't care for any residence, who is fixed in knowledge and who is engaged in devotional service. Such a person is very dear to me.
Yeah, so similar things are again Krishna is emphasizing whatever told earlier. He is equal with friends and enemies. Tatha, and also with man and apaman. Okay, means respect and disrespect. He is also equal with Sita and Ushna. Now Ushna is coming. Now summer season is coming, and this time heat wave is going to be more. It seems. So we have to be equal in both. Okay, Sukha and Dukkha also he is equal. Okay, so Sama. And then also Sangha Vivarjita, he is avoiding bad, I think, association, free from all association. Obviously, Sangha is used in a negative connotation here. What is the translation? Free from contaminating association, bad association. Tulya, Ninda, Stuti, in both, he is, Tulya means again equipoised, equal. In what? Ninda and Stuti, both Ninda defaming and Stuti means glorification. Mauni Santushto, he is also, Mauni means silent. Silent, Prabhupada will explain in the purport. He is silent, not in terms of Krishna conscious preaching. Santushto, again, previously it was explained, he is satisfied. Okay. Yena kena chit, whatever comes on its own accord, he is satisfied with that. Aniketa, Niketan means house. Okay, like we have the name of houses or schools, Shanti Niketan. Okay, means the house where peace is residing, like that. Aniketa means no house. Sthira Mati is Mati is Sthira, means he is Sthita Dhi. Okay, Bhaktiman, he is devotee. May Priyo Mararaha. Such a devotee, very dear to me. Again, Krishna is ending with the same words. Okay. Prabhupada's commentary. Yes, please read.
A devotee is always free from all bad association. Sometimes one is praised and sometimes one is defamed. That is the nature of human society. But a devotee is always transcendental to artificial fame and infamy, distress or happiness. He is very patient. He does not speak of anything but the topics about Krishna. Therefore, he is called silent. Silent does not mean that one should not speak. Silent means that one should not speak nonsense. One should speak only of essentials. And the most essential speech for the devotee is to speak for the sake of the Supreme Lord.
Yeah, so Prabhupada is explaining one by one that he is free from bad association. Sangha Varjitaha. What is bad association? Bad association. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, yeah, Stri Sangi Eka Sadhu Krishna Bhaktar. Correct. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says also this another place also. So one is that a person who is attached to a woman, and then another place, another point he says that Stri Sangi Eka Sadhu. This is one asadhu. Krishna Abhakta R. R means the second one, the other one. Who is that? Krishna Bhakta, the person who is not devotee. Okay, so and another place also he explained that a person, materialistic person, it's better that you put me into a cage, burning with fire all around. It's better than compared to being into bad association. Correct? We have heard how. So that kind of what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sets the example. That Prabhupada is explaining. He is free from all bad association, and even among devotees, he may choose the association of like-minded devotees who may be having similar goals, or they may like similar limbs of bhakti, reading, hearing, chanting, like that. So he is having Sajatiya friend, Sajatiya and Snigdha. Those who are Snigdha means those who are compassionate, or Suhrit, or they are having a non-envious heart for him, or having a auspicious desires for us, like that. Surit, or and then Satovara, and they are Vara, means they are above our level of Krishna consciousness. They can give us good instructions, like that. So we have such kind of association in our Krishna consciousness also community. Sometimes one is praised and sometimes defamed. That is nature of human society. Yeah. So it's a very natural that wherever one may be, there he can find that always there will be three kinds of people around him. Even one goes to a new place, there will be always three kind of people. The people around him will classify themselves into three categories with respect to him. One is who are favorable. Second, who are unfavorable. And third is neutral to him. So wherever any new place or any old place, wherever one may be, you can see in human society, always three categories will exist for you. So those who are having good wishes for you, favorable, unfavorable, those who are not maybe happy with your activities or your way of Krishna consciousness also. And third, there may be people who are neutral to you. अरे क्या करना है तुमको करो, and you don't matter for me so much. Okay, like that. So all this is the nature of human society. One cannot stop. Even one may be very great sadhu or not. So it's a very common principle. Yeah. But a devotee is always transcendental to artificial fame and infamy, because he doesn't look for such things. He doesn't look for fame, and he also doesn't look for infamy. Okay. And neither he looks for distress nor he is looking for happiness. Sometimes devotee have a misunderstanding that Mother Kunti prayed that Vipada Santu Ta Saswat Tatra Tatra Jagat Guru. Uh, uh, so your darshana can come only in those times when we have difficulty in our life. So they may translate literally into this way, and they may pray that Vipada Santu Ta Sashwat, that there be calamities in my life, Sashwat, always. Tatra Tatra Jagat Guru. Jagat Guru is, she is referring to Krishna. So she is saying that let there be calamity because she is able to see Krishna in calamities. Okay, so in another place, His Holiness Radhana Swami Maharaj was speaking that how for every devotee it may not be needing a calamity to see Krishna. For some devotee it may need a happy situation to see Krishna based on his level of Krishna consciousness. If we are not at such a high level of Krishna, we may not need calamity always to see Krishna only. And many times in calamity we cannot see Krishna. How is Krishna giving this calamity in our life? So, as per one's level, it may require happiness to see Krishna in one's life, and sometimes it may require a neutral situation, sometimes it may require a distressful situation. And Krishna arranges a mix of all. Okay, so Krishna knows what is best for us, and surely for a devotee, he personally provides happiness or distress. So devotee doesn't have to go outside his and do extra in never or do some gymnastics to go get some distress or happiness like that. Okay. So he is very patient because he is not looking for those things. He does not speak anything but the topics of Krishna. So many times, yeah, Prabhupada actually explains here and many other lectures that there may be people who are Mauni Babas, but they have a board to write and they write all nonsense. So that is again not being silent. Being silent means actually speaking Krishna consciousness. And if not, then keep quiet. Then don't write, don't speak anything like that. Because what you will speak will be against Krishna consciousness only. Like that. Yeah. Please wait.
A devotee is happy in all conditions. Sometimes he may get very palatable foodstuffs, sometimes not, but he is satisfied. Nor does he care for any residential facility. He may sometimes live underneath a tree, and he may sometimes live in a very palatial building. He is attracted to neither. He is called fixed because he is fixed in his determination and knowledge. We may find some repetition in the descriptions of the qualifications of devotee, but this is just to emphasize the fact that a devotee must acquire all these qualifications.
Yeah, Prabhupada is finally saying that actually there is some repetition, but actually there is repetition in every shloka, which actually we can see everywhere Krishna is saying become equipoised, sama, and especially he is telling about uh, opposing quality like heat and cold and sukha, dukkha, mana, apamana. So he is again saying, so it's very important. Yeah. So there is repetition surely in these descriptions of the qualification of devotee, but this is just to emphasize the fact that a devotee must acquire all these qualifications. Okay, like that. Yeah, one should acquire. How one will acquire? I will show that at the end, at the reference from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, that Rupa Goswami says, by performing of devotional service, 5 limbs, for most important limbs, and other limbs of bhakti, one will get all these qualities. Okay, so yeah, so devotee is happy in all conditions. Sometimes he may get very palatable foodstuff, sometimes not. Yeah, sometimes there may be salt in the food, sometimes it may not be there. You don't make a big hue and cry about it. Okay, yeah, there is nobody going behind you that today surely I'll give you, yeah, not salted prasada, like, yeah, whatever. So it might have happened by his mistake. So it's okay, one can tolerate. And nor does he care for any residential facility. So aniketaha, like that. So yeah, so one should not, as we discussed earlier, look for a very big house, which whatever is required, whatever may be needed, one should accept it. Like here Prabhupada is saying, one may live in both palatial, or he may be living in very simple underneath a tree. So it's both okay if he is able to practice his Krishna consciousness. Okay, whatever is favorable for Krishna consciousness, that one should accept. Okay. So Prabhupada asked, okay, you are going into this Rolls Royce car, golden cars, and then you are staying in such five-star hotels. You are speaking, you are a sannyasi, and you are speaking also in your lecture that one should live simple, but you are showing that you are living actually very opulent. So how to understand this? So he told very simple answer that actually for me it's not required. I can come in a bullock cart also, or I can come in Rolls Royce, whatever is offered, I can come. Or I can stay under a tree also. But if I am under a tree and coming on bullock cart, will you come to take my interview? So yeah, the interviewer understood the point. They are coming to take interview because they understand these things are important. Oh, somebody coming into such a big car, he must be important person. he is staying in 5-star hotel. So he must be important person because you consider it important. I am doing it so that you take my interview and then it will be helpful for the world. So Prabhupada's consideration is like that, but he accepted what is favorable basically. Now somebody may say, oh, why did he? It's told that one should not go cross the 7 oceans, or one should. He took the jet airplanes, and then sannyas should not get involved into marriage of the marriages basically. But Prabhupada conducted the marriage. What is speak of getting involved? And sannyasi should not wear stitched clothes. But always he had many of the things which were not as per the like general Vedic sannyasi may not have to do, but he accepted all of this, understanding that highest principle is Krishna consciousness, not the principles of karma kanda which are explained in the Vedic scriptures. Okay, what is favorable for Krishna consciousness? He accepted. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu understood, yeah, sannyasi is favorable for Krishna consciousness. He accepted. He understood Grihastha life is not favorable for him because people are disrespecting him. They are offending me, who is Lord himself. So he took sannyas so that they respect him and they grow in Krishna consciousness. So whatever favorable one accepts, whether it is sannyas or whether it is Grihastha ashram, like that. So one should not think by externals that this is higher, this is lower. Whatever is favorable, one accepts. Most important is Krishna consciousness. Okay. So he is called fixed because he is fixed in determination and knowledge of scriptures, basically. That was told earlier. And we may find some repetition this we discussed. Yeah, continue.
Without good qualifications, one cannot be a pure devotee. Hara abhaktasya kuto mahat guna. One who is not a devotee has no good qualification. One who wants to be recognized as a devotee should develop the good qualifications. Of course, he does not extraneously endeavor to acquire these qualifications, but engagement in Krishna consciousness and devotional service automatically helps him develop them.
Yeah, so same thing I've been telling again. So this is from Bhaktivedanta Sindhu. Rupa Goswami says this principle that one doesn't have to extraneously endeavor. See, till now Prabhupada is saying that one doesn't have to extraneously endeavor for material things. Now he is saying not for material things, for these qualifications which are mentioned in these shlokas of Bhagavad Gita. These look to be so much spiritual and these are all good qualifications of a pure devotee. Why not? Endeavor. So Prabhupada is saying not in that sense that one should not think at all about this, but one should not extraneously endeavor and stop doing the core Krishna conscious principles of 5 limbs, basically. The 5 important limbs of bhakti, what we practice, that is most important. Okay, when one does, then automatically Krishna bestows these good qualities. How? Here he quotes the reference. Hara abhaktasya kuto mahadguna. But what is the shloka? Yasyasti bhakti bhagavati akinchana. One who has akinchana bhakti for yasya. Yasyasya basically refers to the Lord's bhakti. Sarvai gunastatra samasate sura. In that person, all the guna will come in him. The shloka doesn't speak that one will endeavor and then one will get. The shloka speaks that in a devotee, all these qualities will automatically come. That's what reference Prabhupada is giving. Okay, and if a devotee is not able to get such qualification, even after years of practice, one has to understand he is not doing the actual way of bhakti explained in Bhakti Sindhu. That is very, very easy to understand that he is making some mistake in his practice. Even after years of practice, one is not developing such qualities of cleanliness or equipoised or being non-attached to materialistic things, sense gratification, then he is not practicing Krishna consciousness the way our acharyas and Prabhupada have explained. Okay, there is no doubt about that. Why? Because by practicing, one will gain these qualities. There is no doubt about that actually. Okay, so now we reach to last shloka. 20th shloka, we will do this. Yetu dharma kritam idam yathoktam paripasate Shraddha Panta Shraddhana Mat Parma Bhaktaste Ativa Me Priya. Okay. So who is the devotee can read last one? Yeah, Prasanna Gopal, would you like to read?
Those who follow this imperishable path of devotional service and who completely engage themselves with faith, making me the supreme goal, are very, very dear to me.
Yeah. So now Krishna is glorifying the shlokas he has explained. Again, ये तो धर्म अमृतम इदम. ये जो धर्म का अमृत है, this dharma अमृत. Okay, religion, nectar of religion, nectar of religion here. Idam, what I have explained you. Yatha Uktam, as I have told you, as I have explained. Pariyupasate, upasana means to worship or to practice. What people is told? Completely engaged or pariyupasate. As I have explained, one who is completely engaging in this. And then Shraddhadhana Mat Parma. Okay, so Mat Parma, he considering me to the Supreme Lord. How faithfully he considers me the Supreme Lord. Such a devotee, Bhaktaste, Ativa, so much, too much. Me Priya, he is too much dear to me, like that. Ativa, very, very dear, like that. Okay, so Krishna is glorifying what he has spoken. Yeah, please read.
In this chapter, from verse 2 through the end, from Maya Avesha Manohe Mam, fixing the mind on me, though through Etu Dharmamrutam Idam, this religion of eternal engagement, the Supreme Lord has explained the process of transcendental service for approaching Him. Such processes are very dear to the Lord, and He accepts a person engaged in them. The question of who is better, one who is engaged in the path of personal, impersonal Brahman, or one who is engaged in the personal service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was raised by Arjuna, and Lord replied to him so explicitly that there is no doubt that devotional service to the Personality of Godhead is of spiritual realization.
Yeah, please read.
In other words, in this chapter, it is decided that though the good association one develops attachment for pure devotional service, and thereby accepts a bona fide spiritual master, and from him begins to hear and chant and observe the regulative principles of devotional service with faith, attachment, and devotion, and thus becomes engaged in the transcendental service of the Lord. This path is recommended in this chapter. Therefore, there is no doubt that devotional service is the only absolute path for self-realization, for the attainment of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The impersonal conception of the Supreme Absolute Truth, as described in this chapter, is recommended only up to the time one surrenders himself for self-realization. In other words, as long as one does not have the chance to associate it with pure devotee, the impersonal conception may be beneficial. In the impersonal conception of absolute truth, one works without fruitive result, meditate and cultivates knowledge to understand spirit and matter. This is necessary as long as one is not in the association of the pure devotee. Fortunately, if one develops directly a desire to engage in Krishna consciousness in pure devotional service, it does not need to undergo step-by-step improvement in spiritual realization. Devotional service, as described in the middle 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, is more congenial. One need not bother about materials to keep the body and the soul together, because by the grace of Lord, everything is carried out automatically.
Yeah, so this large part I just wanted to say. Prabhupada has told here that how the association of pure devotee is actually the most important thing, even in the life of an impersonalist conception person. Yeah, so if they do, okay, as long as one does not have the chance to associate with the pure devotee or the devotee of the Lord, the impersonal conception may be beneficial. But when one gets such association, then one will get Bhakti Sukriti and then he will become a devotee also. Okay, and then from Pradhanibhut Bhakta, he may become actually a Shuddha Bhakta like that. Okay, so that has been again emphasized in these 6 chapters, that how the devotee association is very, very important to give Sukriti, Agyat Sukriti of Bhakti Yoga. And Chaitanya also speaks that Sadhu Sangha is the only limb which is actually Bhakti Janma Moola Haya Sadhu Sangha. It is said that the Bhakti Janma Moolam is the root of the tree of Bhakti Lata or Bhakti creeper is the Sadhu Sangha. Chaitanya Charitamrita says. And then it says that when one attains prema, okay, even at the stage of prema, the Bhakti has become fully mature. In that stage also, the sadhu sangha is the most important link, actually. So Puna here, Mukhyam. Okay, so that shloka Chaitanya Charitamrita says. That's what Prabhupada is saying also there. Okay, so Prabhupada concludes that Bhakti Yoga is the far more easier way to practice this Krishna consciousness compared to the impersonal path. Okay, so any questions are there on what we discussed today? Yes, Deepali Mati.
Prabhu, I'm not getting the meaning of
Sorry?
last line. But he's not bothered about materials to keep body and soul together because by the grace of Lord everything is kept over.
Where is that coming?
Last line of this poem.
One need not bother about the materials to keep body and soul together because by the grace of the Lord everything is carried out automatically. Yeah, we discussed now that Krishna says that yoga kshema mahamiham. You remember that explanation? We discussed that Krishna takes care of both all the material needs as well as the spiritual needs of a devotee. Correct. So one need not bother about materials to keep body and soul together. Okay, yoga Shema Vahami Aham. So that's what principal Prabhupada is saying. Everything is carried out automatically for a devotee. Okay, by the grace of the Lord. Is it okay, Mataji? Okay, okay. Any other question? Arun Prabhu? Yes.
In the explanation to Advesta Sarvabhutana, I heard once that it starts with when a when a person or when a devotee becomes envious of Krishna. So, or like the ultimate is he becomes envious of Krishna and therefore he falls down in material world. So, my question is like, uh, what is the meaning of being envious with Krishna? One explanation I heard is that being in a spiritual world, soul thinks that how can Krishna enjoy? I will also enjoy, and then Krishna sends him in the material world. Okay, you try to enjoy. So, like, how does this propensity come? Does it come directly, or what is the exactly meaning of being envious with Krishna, and then how can we get rid of it?
Yeah, Prabhupada explains actually many lectures. So he explains that how the entity may get a desire because it has minute independence. Correct. And it may misuse the independence, minute independence, which one new entity has. So by misusing such independence, one can get desires which may not be favorable for Krishna consciousness. And one may become envious of the Lord and continue his cycle of birth and death continuously in this material world. In that way, Prabhupada explains. And how to reduce it by practicing Krishna consciousness and associating with devotees and sadhu sangha, nam kirtan, same thing, five links basically. By that, one can reduce his enviousness, basically.
So, like even in the spiritual world, a person or a soul can misuse his minute independence. But as far as I understand it, it may happen for one time. But once he comes to material world and then goes back, then Krishna says, "Yad Gatva Nivartanti,"
Ah,
then
yes, yes. Then he
he
will
will
not
not
misuse.
misuse this
Correct. Correct.
independence.
Yeah,
So
then he will not.
when Krishna creates soul by by Drishtipat, we understand by Drishtipat when Krishna creates soul, at that point of time he can misuse that independence. But once he goes back to the spiritual world, he won't use. like this? Should we understand?
No. Actually, one thing is Krishna doesn't create the souls. So if you see first, second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that all these kings have been existing since past. They will be existing in future also. So Krishna doesn't create the souls. If the souls are eternally existing, Krishna is eternally existing. He doesn't create the souls. So there is no question of a time when souls were created. Okay. They are always existing.
Okay, Guruji. So here, Guruji, I was reading because tomorrow is Mahavir Jayanti, and I had to give a speech in the assembly in school today. I was reading Jain philosophy yesterday. So there it was said that Mahavir, whom
Okay.
all the Jains.
Just 1 minute. We'll take question answer after some time because already time. I have few things to tell. So before the devotees leave, I will tell, and then those who have questions they can stay back. Is it okay? Okay.
Yes,
Okay. One thing is that we have completed Bhagavad Gita. Hopefully everybody knows this unit we have completed, not Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So that is one thing. Another thing is that announcements in the group have been made about the exams. So I hope everybody is aware. Tomorrow we have shloka test for those who are prepared and are ready. They can give tomorrow. Some devotees have expressed concern. For them, I have replied. Okay, to decide a date and tell us they can give at that time. Then next week we have the closed book exams, and those who are not able to give next week, for the dates we can decide later. But majority of the devotees should be giving in the next week. Okay, like that. So that we can start the next unit on 4th of May, I guess. That's what we discussed. That is one thing. And if you have any questions about the closed book question and answer, you can stay back. We'll discuss about that. And if you are not getting some answers, we can discuss. If you have some confusion, we can discuss. Then another thing is next teacher will be Nasim Avatar today. So that will be 13th to 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. And then as we discussed, next will be nectar of instruction. That is Yuval Shampoo will be teaching nectar of instruction. And then again NOD will come, nectar of devotion, that I will teach in the last unit. Okay. So dates are not yet finalized. As per the flow of the syllabus, we'll come back to the teaching. Okay, that is one thing. And yeah. So hopefully, the next Bhagavad Gita unit, it may take 40 to 50 hours, and NOI will take 22 hours. Okay, 22 to 25 hours. And then again, NOD will discuss, try to discuss in around 40 to 60 hours. It will be around. Okay, it will be little more than 40 hours again. So that will be the last unit. And the presentation again will be similar. It will be like this black and white presentation. Not much, stories. And today was, I think, maximum explanation I gave throughout the whole sessions. And I think I never gave so much of my own interpretation, my own understanding on any shloka so much. So if anybody felt a little bit off, then please tolerate. And again, we'll try to come back to the previous kind of explanation, more on the Shastra from NOD. And color, yeah, it was little bit colorful only where highlighted blue colors were there maybe. So it was that much only colorful. There are no animations, and it's like very simple. So I don't know how many of you didn't like or how many of you liked. So you can share your genuine feedbacks. I will share the Google form. Okay. So if there are some feedbacks, surely we can try to improve. And if there are some things which we can change, it will be helpful for devotees. We can do. And yeah, that's what I wanted to tell. Yeah, anything anybody want to ask apart from question answers and about the CVE OBA? Or you have anything to share? Because today's is like officially last session of this unit. Or you have any question about your attendance? Anything you want to ask? You can otherwise WhatsApp later. Okay. So thank you. I thank very much all the devotees. They have switched on their video for so many hours. Almost these sessions went for 30 sessions. So 30 into 2, 60 hours. 60 hours of your darshan. And it was very purifying. Okay. Darshan pavitra kare to margun. So devotee darshan with all tilaka and DT's pictures. If your video is off, also we get DT darshan. So it's all purifying video on or off. So thank you for joining and tolerating me for speaking only bland philosophy, not so much spiced. It was very blank and monotonous, basically. So you tolerated so much. So thank you very much. So if there have been any unintentional or intentional mistake, I did not have any intention to offend anybody. If anybody felt like that, then kindly forgive me. I did not do it intentionally. Yes. Okay. So thank you very much. Yes, Shri Angaputru, you want to say something? You ask something?
Purji, first of all, I would like to thank you because of your so elaborate explanation on this unit 2 of Bhagavad Gita. By your humility, you are expressing that most of the devotees, many devotees, almost all devotees, very much inspired actually. So, Purji, next to that, my question is like 12.16, like Prabhupada in purport mentioning about the earning money. Like devotees not to endeavor much. He gets according to his whatever is required that automatically Krishna provides. So like specifically Prabhupada is mentioning about money in this purport. So my question is like, suppose the devotee is doing some business and he has a sufficient amount of money and he has good business also. So he doesn't require much more money because he has good saving also for his own Krishna conscious practice.
Yeah.
But the always money is not the concern. When we are doing business, there are some competitors along with us, like who are in the same business. So for that reason, we may have to develop the business, or to change some of the things, or to add some services or XYZ anything particular. So for that, we may have to endeavor also. So is that like uh, how to understand that? How Prabhupada is mentioning about money?
Yeah, see, one thing is we can do the endeavor which is required for taking care of the business. But it should not be so much endeavor in the name of competition that one is not able to do his basic 16 rounds of chanting and able to wake up at least in the morning hours and do some rounds of at least 8 rounds of chanting, kind of some commitment he has in his life that I will chant at least 8 rounds in the morning. And whatever he has taken a commitment that he is able to do, coming to temple at least on weekend. So much of business mentality should not be there. That's what I understand. I don't have so much experience of doing any business, so I may not be the best person to guide in this or answer in this. But whatever my understanding, I can share. Another thing is we have to also have the understanding that Krishna also is a factor in our business, not only our endeavor. Krishna's mercy also is a factor. How much ever the competitors we may try to compete with, but Krishna also has his part to play in our business, because we are not just normal materialistic people doing business. We are doing it with some mentality of Krishna consciousness, and results also we give to Krishna for to some extent. Okay, so that's what I feel that it will be good if we have this mentality rather than only depending on our endeavor. Okay, and at the same time, we should take guidance from those who are in this line and they are in Krishna conscious path. To that seniors you can take guidance from. They will be able to give more practical guidance. Like Anandandan, too, maybe he has been in this from many years. Okay, you can take guidance from him or somebody else who may be close to you. So basically, Prabhupada is mentioning it comes automatically by the grace of Supreme Lord, because Lord himself takes care of the devotee's needs, material or spiritual. Okay, like that. So, but at the same time, he doesn't give up the endeavor. But Krishna sees that, oh, he is endeavoring so much, but he's not doing chanting or not doing reading, hearing. Then he may not be having so much of pleasure with our service, business, basically. Okay. Is it okay? Some extent?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Kishore Nadak, you want to say something?
So, one second, there's some setting got disturbed at my end.
Okay. You have raised hand to speak or?
No, I think
Okay.
something got disturbed on my screen actually. You're able to hear, no? But
I'm able to hear it.
sorry, yeah, there's some different screen coming on my mobile. Oh, thank you very much. I think this session was one of the best, and the methodology what you adopted was really good. I'll personally saying, sir, whatever I have learned so far, but this session I liked most basically. So someday you give, like last time what I said, at least one class in your personal association, so that we can interact more. Sometimes.
Yeah, you can come for exam. I'll conduct the exam for you.
That would be one. Okay, probably.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Yes, Mati, Arunavati, you want to speak something?
Yes, Pooja, I had a question.
Yes, Mati, yeah, please.
Pooja, this is a question from the handbook basically, while I was revising all the questions. So it's related to shloka number 10.12 probably.
Okay.
The question asks, what is the significance of the word para Brahma? So I went through the verse, and in the purpose, in Shloki Bhagavatam, Shloki Bhagavad Gita, became completely free from all doubts and accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He at once boldly declares, "You are Para Brahma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead." So, Prabhuji, like I understood the verse, but when we talk about specifically this word Para Brahma, what is the significance of it here?
Yeah, what is the shloka number you told me?
10.12. 10.12.
Yeah. Just going to that shloka. Yeah, Parabrahma, okay, that shloka only. Yeah. Yeah, so what is the significance of the word Parabrahma you are asking?
Yes, Prabhuji. What I understood is maybe because it like in the beginning of the Purple Prabhupada is saying Lord has given a chance to the Mayavad philosopher. But here it is clear that Supreme is different from the individual because Mayavadis understand they become one with the Lord after liberation.
Correct.
So that is the answer, Prabhuji?
Yeah, that's what I was also thinking. What here Prabhupada is focusing is that aspect that Lord is not impersonal Brahman, but he is addressed as Param Brahma means he is addressing to a person that you are Brahma means he is a person basically. Yeah, that's what I also feel here. His answer.
Will I have the same answer also?
Yeah, if you don't get marks, don't ask me. But I also feel that is the answer.
Or
And I
maybe you
don't
can
know the
go
answer.
through the
Huh?
Okay, maybe. Or maybe you can just go through the first paragraph of the purport and then later. Because when I read the later part of the first paragraph, because it is like the purport is writing, you are Para Brahma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So from one point, it feels like Krishna is the Supreme. So that is why Para Brahma is word to show the supremacy of the Lord, which was basically the main subject matter of this whole chapter.
Yeah.
So there are two meanings. One from the Mayavad philosophers, and one is the supremacy of the Lord. Which one is more accurate? I wanted to understand.
I think yeah, Supreme Personality got it that here Prabhupada also said you are Parabrahma, the Supreme Personality got it. So again, second time he told that. Yeah. So I think that same thing is here. Okay. So okay, anyhow, I will read the whole thing and then I will let you know this paragraph.
Okay. And there, I just please.
Yeah.
You want to say some you? Okay. I just checked that portal of Asma where the marks have been posted. So I shared
the bvrvpune.org.
Yes, Prabhuji, on which we see our assessment.
Okay.
So I just shared a photograph, a screenshot of my assessment with you on BVRV WhatsApp number. There, OBA for Unit 1 of Bhagavad Gita has not been posted yet. Plus, there is second line of marks is coming by some Madan Prabhu, Madan Sundar Prabhu.
Okay.
That is not my, those are not my marks because I know what are my marks.
Yeah. Actually, that one error is coming in the website. That's some mismatch of the roll number has happened your roll number with some other student of that batch. Okay, because that may not be coming earlier, it may be coming recently.
Yes,
Yeah,
Pranali. I
there
just
is
checked
some
it today for the
yeah,
OBA.
some recent error has come that they are trying to rectify. And the first OBA is not yet corrected, that's why the marks are not entered.
Okay, Pranali. And for
Yeah.
this unit's OBA, do we need to upload through this portal only? Or you
No,
will
no,
be
no,
sharing from the
not
other?
this portal. I have shared a link today in the
Okay.
our WhatsApp group. There is a link of that in that
Hmm.
Google site. Basically, it's a Google site,
Okay.
and I will post separately also that link separately where all can upload OBA, because everybody may not be able to search. I will post it. Or if Arun too, you are here.
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhu.
he's here, Pranali.
Yeah. So Prabhu, is it okay if you can go to that G site and copy the link and paste it?
I saw that Toji, but it is for like batch coordinator. Like we will, like earlier Yamuna Pilas Toji used to do. We used to upload it in a Google form, and then probably he would zip it and upload it to the website, something like that.
Yes, yes,
So
yes, correct.
there also Google form is available not for students, like not for us, but for batch coordinators. So whether you will do or I have to do on behalf of all students,
No.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, actually not for batch coordinator only. It is for all. I'm just sharing my screen.
Yes, Prabhu.
See, this is a website basically which I have shared with all of you. So this is BBRV student website, not coordinators. Okay, so today this I have shared this link. So go to this. This you are in the Bhakti Shastri tab. Make sure. Then here is Bhakti Shastri handbook. This handbook is an older version. What I have given you is a newer version. Okay, because this is the first batch. Ours is the first batch for the new version of handbook. So this handbook you can overlook. This you don't have to see. Then course guidebook not required for you. Yeah, see here. This is the one I am talking about. So come here. Upload link is there. Okay. So all devotees can upload through this link. It's not required to zip it by the coordinator. All can upload individually also. It's okay. Okay, so it's for both CBA and OBA upload. So at the end of your CBA exam, upload it here. At the end of OBA, like you can upload it tomorrow on this link. So upload link is here. You click it, it will go to that link. Okay. So that's my YouTube channel and other things. Okay. And if you go to the home page, then there is our registration, WhatsApp announcement group, website link. This is the website bbra.org.pune. And CBA upload G form. This is the same link. And okay, if anybody wants to do another voucher, okay. CBOBA upload. Sorry, sheet format. Okay, this may not be required for you. Guidelines for writing OBA that I have shared with all of you. Recommendation letter. Okay, so just go to this Bhakti Shastri and go to this link. Okay, anyhow, I'm copying it and pasting in the group. Yeah, anything else?
I have one more thing.
Yeah.
Like once I told you my email ID is not correctly mentioned to log in into
Right.
this BG-12.13-12.20.
Yeah.
Like you suggested, I went to the edit part of the profile and
Correct.
I updated my email ID there.